and welcome. This evening we're going to meditate together and try to reach a place of confidence, of peace, of love, particularly in this time when many people are feeling frustrated, angry, out of control, lonely, disconnected, bored, flat, and uninspired. So to spend a few minutes connecting and going to a deeper place will help all of us. The meditation we're doing this evening is an authentic Jewish meditation taken from the book of Tanya, the great work of Hasidic and mystical thought written by Rabbi Tanya Zalman about 250 years ago. And in his work, he set forth ideas, spiritual ideas, that you're supposed to contemplate, think about, and meditate on deeply. And by doing so, you connect to your soul. One of Rabbi Tanya Zalman's main aims was to teach us how to connect to the love that our soul has for God and for humanity. And he taught that each one of us naturally has an innate bond and a connection with God. We just need to reveal it, to bring it out into the surface. And so we do that through meditation, through contemplation, and through focus on spiritual ideas. And he helps us along the way by giving us things to think about. So I want to share with you the concept, the idea, so we just understand it in our minds. And then we'll meditate on it to bring it out of our soul and to actually feel it and experience it. Rabbi Tanya Zalman, in chapter 44 of Tanya, says that every one of us have a natural love for God, but we need to bring it out. And how do we bring it out? By contemplating first on our natural love for life. We love being alive. Being alive is the deepest and greatest pleasure that we have. We yearn to live. We thrive through living and being alive. We protect our life. We do everything we can to stay alive and keep alive. We have a survival instinct that pushes us to make sure that we are okay and alive. And there's no deeper and greater pleasure than simply being alive. If we contemplate on the fact that that life, where does it come from? Where does our life come from? It comes from God. So then it's a very short step from loving life to loving God. And so all we need to do is contemplate on the love we have for living, and then take that a step higher and say, well, what is living? Living is God, because God gives us life. The way we do that is by feeling our life, feeling alive. When you feel your life, you feel this unbelievable pleasure. Life is something we do all the time. We just have it. So of course we take it for granted. But when we contemplate the power of being alive, when we actually feel a passion towards being alive, so then suddenly life becomes the greatest gift. This is something we easily forget, especially when we're distracted by life, by the things happening around us in life. We forget that we're just alive and be thankful for that. When you feel that, when you sense that, so then suddenly the peripheral issues, the superficial issues fall away, and the essence of being alive is what you experience, and you feel alive. You feel thankful, grateful, and that gratitude is aimed towards God, and that engenders love. You feel an awesome love towards God, and that feeling is an incredibly powerful and beautiful feeling. So the way we can appreciate this idea is by actually viscerally, physically feeling our life, feeling how sensitive, how tender, how on the border, on the line our life is. Feeling that, sensing that, and then feeling the pleasure of having life, and then extrapolating one step further and saying, well, that yearning we have for life is actually God. We're going to do this through observing our breath, because breathing is life. The most basic sign of life is breathing. And more than that, the Tanya says at the very beginning in chapter 2 that our soul is a breath of life that God breathes into us. And so breathing, like life, is something that we constantly do without noticing it, without enjoying it or appreciating it. But if we focus on it and appreciate it, then we feel the pleasure of being alive. And breathing is something you cannot not do. People, tell you keep breathing, but the truth is you can't not breathe. It's not possible. We're always breathing. You can't stop breathing for very long. Even if you did, your body would force you to breathe. And that's because your breath is not you. Your breath is God. Your breath is God breathing you life. And so we're constantly, at every second we're breathing, we're actually experiencing God. We're experiencing life that's been given to us. Just we don't realize it. And so if we stop for just a few minutes and experience that, we're experiencing God. And the love will flow. Let's try it. So the rules of Jewish meditation are that there are no particular rules. You can sit in any posture you'd like. Sit, stand, lie down. You can have your eyes open or eyes closed, whatever you prefer. You can do it in a noisy room with other people. You can do it all alone in a quiet place. As long as you can enter your space and concentrate, that's all that matters. So put yourself in that position that is most comfortable for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some deep breathing, and we're going to do the Yud-K Vav-K breath. Yud-K Vav-K is the name of God, the four-letter name of God. 4 Hebrew letters, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. Every Hebrew letter has a numerical value. And those 4 letters, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, are the numbers 10, 5, 6, 5. And so we're going to do a 10, 5, 6, 5 pattern of breath. This is how it goes. You first take a deep breath in to introduce, and then you take a slow breath out, counting to 10 in your mind. At the end of that 10 count, you hold your breath for 5 counts, then breathe in for 6 counts, hold it for 5, and so on. 10 counts out, hold it for 5, 6 counts in, hold it for 5, and you continue. 10, 5, 6, 5. And if you can, imagine the letter Yud, then Hey, Vav, and Hey. The 10, 5, 6, 5. I say 10 counts or 6 counts, not seconds, because for some of us it might be hard to breathe out for 10 seconds. If you can, great. It can be as long count as you can do. Doing as long out 10, holding for 5, in 6, holding for 5. So let's start that. Let's do a deep breath in to introduce. And then a slow exhale, counting slowly to 10. Then hold for 5. In for 6. Hold for 5. And then out 10. Hold for 5. In 6. Hold for 5. We're back to Yud. Out 10. hold for 5, which is Hey, in for 6, which is Vav, and hold for 5, which is the final Hey. Keep doing that cycle. 10, 5, 6, 5. Just keep going. And feel the enjoyment, the pleasure of breathing in the divine breath and then exhaling and letting out your divine soul. As we're doing this, God is breathing into us life, energy, light, love, and then we are letting out and expressing that energy, sharing it with the world, giving our soul and letting it shine. So just experience the pure enjoyment of being alive. Now, if you note that between those breaths, between breathing out or breathing in, during the hold, when we're holding the breath, just hold on to that a little bit longer. And as you do that, feel the urge, the anticipation for the next breath. Particularly after the 10-point exhale, when you've emptied your lungs. When you hold that, just hold it a little longer and just feel that yearning for a new breath. What is that yearning? It's a yearning to be alive, for life. That no matter what else may be happening, I want to be alive. I love being alive. And so when you do take that inhale to breathe in the divine breath, after holding a little bit longer, feel the awesome pleasure of life being breathed back into you. Now notice that you can hold your breath for a few counts. You can extend that a little bit, but you can't hold it forever. There is an involuntary impulse to breathe in the next breath that you can't really stop. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. And that's because it's not really you breathing. You're being breathed. God is breathing into you. He is your breath. Your breath, which is involuntary, it's so basic to you, to your survival, to your life, but it's not even you. You're not really choosing it. It's choosing you. But as long as God is breathing into you the breath of life, God is choosing you. He's giving you life. So feel that as you breathe in that new breath that you didn't really choose. Note that this is God's gift to you. Let's breathe on that a few times. So what you're anticipating with that next breath is not just life in the physical, bodily sense. It's the source of life. It's God that you're yearning for. And when you take that breath in, it's not you choosing that. It's God choosing to give it to you, to gift you with life and gift you with love. So breathe in that love and breathe out thanks and gratitude for that love. Breathe in the divine gift and breathe out your gift, your thanks to God. As we continue breathing and continue feeling the gift coming in and the light coming out, try and hold on to this feeling of absolute connectedness. That no matter what else may be going on in the world around us and even in your life, that the baseline of life you have, and that you love. You love being alive. And if life means sometimes facing challenging times, it's still life, and we love it. And if sometimes it seems dark, it's still God breathing that life into us with love. So continue those slow breaths and create a space that you can come back to. That this space of intimacy with God, you can revisit it any time. You can come back to it just by getting into your position, breathing the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey. You can revisit this place of connection with life and with God. Whenever you're ready, you can come back down, and slowly reconnect to the external surroundings. This is a great meditation to start the day with every day. I personally do it every day before the morning prayers, and it completely transforms the morning, the prayers, and the entire day. And even for 5 minutes you enter into a space that you can re-enter during the rest of the day. And so many of the little things and big things that disturb us and get in our way, bring us down and frustrate us, in the context of that divine breath, they become a little less daunting, and we can enjoy just being alive. So my blessing to you and to me is that we should take the life we're given, the light that we're given, be grateful for it, and share it with everyone we can. Thank you. God bless.